Method parameters are variables that you pass into a method when you call it. They act as inputs, allowing you to provide different values to the method each time it is executed. This makes methods more flexible and reusable. Pascal case for method names. Methods are usually named using Pascal case. First letter of each word is capitalized. Example: move player, calculate score. Void. This method does not return a value. Void. Start method. Called once at the beginning when the script is first enabled. Initialize variables or states here. 1. Initialization. The start method is used for initialization tasks when a game object is created or when the script component is enabled. It's typically called at the beginning of a scene or when a game object that contains the script is instantiated. 2. One-time execution. Code placed inside the start method is executed only once, at the start of the game, or when the script becomes active. This is useful for setting up initial states, initializing variables, configuring components, or performing any other one-time setup tasks. 3. No return value. The void keyword indicates that the start method doesn't return a value. It's intended for performing actions and setup, rather than producing a result that needs to be returned to the caller. Void update method. Called once per frame. This is where you put code that needs to be updated continuously, for example, handling player movement. Update is the most commonly used function to implement any kind of game script. However, not every mono-behavior script needs update. 1 frame-by-frame execution. The update method is executed repeatedly, once for each frame of the game. In most cases, a game runs at 60 frames per second, FPS, so update will be called approximately 60 times per second, depending on the game's frame rate. 2. Continuous logic. Code placed inside the update method is used for continuous game logic and updates. This is where you typically put code that responds to player input, handles game mechanics, checks for collisions, updates character movement, and performs other actions that need to happen continuously throughout gameplay. 3. Real-time interaction. Because update is called every frame, it's suitable for real-time interactions, such as character movement, camera control, physics simulations, and responding to player input. Fixed update. Method. Called at fixed intervals. Use this for physics-related calculations like forces and rigid bodies. Awake method. Called before the start method, often used for initializing references or any operations that need to happen before the scene starts. On-trigger enter. On-collision enter. Trigger or collision detection methods used for interaction between objects. Coroutines. Unity uses coroutines for asynchronous tasks, for example, waiting for some time. Why debug.log? Debug.log in Unity is used to output messages to the Unity console, like how print works in other programming languages like Python or JavaScript. It's a handy tool for debugging and tracking the flow of your code. The code will produce this output. Let's reflect on what we have learned so far.